Hello booktube, hello book friends, welcome back to my channel and another tag video. And today I am going to do the box office tops and flops tag. And this is a relatively new tag, I think, created by Heather at Heather Reads and Meg at Books Off the Beaten Path. And I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. So thank you to Heather, Meg and Pat for creating and tagging me respectively. And I well, let's talk about the tag first. So there is only one prompt. So this is a bit like a tag I did a week or so ago. So prompt: using YouTube Studio, look up your 5 videos that got the highest number of views and the 5 that got the lowest. Answer these questions about each video. Why do you think this video got as many or as few views as it did? For the highest 5 view videos only, do you think each video warrants as many views as it got? And for the 5 lowest view videos only, can you think of a good reason why more people should watch these videos? Now, I was tagged by Pat and I watched her video, and I would kind of echo a lot of what she said. So I think probably worth, if you haven't watched it, pause mine, go watch Pat's. I'll link to it in the description. And then come back, because I think a lot of what Pat said is very relevant. Now, I think I need to preface what I'm going to say with a couple of points. I've only been creating booktube videos since October last year, so not even a full year yet. And my subscriber count is relatively low. It's around about 360-ish. It kind of fluctuates up and down a bit. It's gone up a lot this month because of Private Eye in July, which I've been a co-host of and involved in. So it went up quite quickly from around about 300 to sort of where it is now at sort of 360 in the last kind of month or ish, month and a half. So I think that impacts on my views to some extent. Also, when you look at Pat's answers, she's a much bigger channel. She's been on booktube for a little bit longer, so I think that has a bearing, particularly for me anyway. So just bear that in mind in what I'm going to say. I think is probably just all I was going to point out. So let's look at, so I've been in, I've got them on my second screen, which is why I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at my other screen, and my top video. And this is interesting. It's interesting to me. I don't very often go this deep into the numbers. I very occasionally look at, because you can look at like your 10 most recent videos, and I very often look at those, and I think looking at that, I would concur with what Pat said, that videos that have like top 10 or top 5 or the best books I've ever read kind of videos score really highly, and then poetry videos kind of bomb. And I would say, when I look at my 10 most recent, and I look at that stat, I would have said that's pretty representative of so I don't think, when you look at what are we now, nearly August, so 10 months ish of my statistics, I'm not sure that necessarily bears out now, having thought it did. So my top 5, my most watched video of the last 10 months was one I created less than a month ago. So I posted it on July the 7th, and it was a video entitled Reading Plans for the Remainder of 2025. And it was just a look at, it was kind of a top 10, although it doesn't say that in the title, but it was 10 books that I was planning to read between now and the end of the year. And, this is where, I think reflecting that I've not been on booktube all that long, it's got 276 views. So not very many compared, I think Pat's highest viewed video was something like 17,000 views. And sorry, I'm getting lost in the data now. Yeah, so that's my most viewed. And then another one, relatively recent, published on June the 23rd, was my Private Eye in July announcement video. So that's number 2, and that's at 271 views. Now, I would possibly expect that to now drop down the rankings slowly. I don't think that's going to get many more views because Private Eye in July is coming to an end. I think it was very much a video of the moment at that point in time. And possibly the reading plans one will as well. Then we get to one that was created in December. So I'd only been, and pretty much I've been on booktube for more or less 2 months to the day at that point. And that was my best 10 books of 2024. So maybe the algorithm is, playing a bit here. 263 views. And again, that was what it says on the tin. It was the 10 best books that I'd read. My view, my opinion, not necessarily any, outside influence, just was the 10 books I'd enjoyed the most in 2024. And that, was before I was on booktube as a creator. Then we go to June 15th this year. 6 book recommendations on authoritarianism, totalitarianism, and fascism. A video I created to support something that Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads was doing. And that gets 244 views. Again, 6 book recommendations. So I think, there is something to that. And then the 5th most popular book is also one of my oldest. A video that I created after I'd been on booktube for only a month. So published in November 20th, 2024. And it is author spotlight on Alistair MacLean. So one of my all-time favourite authors. So I'm kind of pleased that is in my top 5. And that got 223 views. Now, I've done 2 of those author spotlight videos, and I was just going to look and see if I could find the other one. Oh, there it is. So, yeah, the other one, which was on Craig Thomas, another one of my all-time favourite authors, created 2 months later in January, 86 views. So, I think, yes, the algorithm likes, the top 10 things. It's interesting because, the book the tag video that I created, was it last week? Well, it was July 16th was when it was published. The 10 untouched book tags, which has been really popular on booktube. So it's a video that is just over a week old. 204 views, but it's the sixth most popular video of mine. So I don't know. I really, honestly, I think not being on booktube for very long and having a relatively low subscriber count really is showing in some of these statistics, because obviously I don't think the algorithm is necessarily finding and promoting my videos very widely. I think I've got quite a loyal subscriber base as far as I can tell. So I think quite a lot of my views come from subscribers. That I do know, but I'm looking at the other data. So let's look at the worst performing videos, or the least best performing videos. I don't like to say worst, because I think I quite like some of these videos. So am I going to do... Yeah, let's do the lowest performing video. So one that I created, and I've just said this about my best, one that I created about 2 months after I've been on booktube. A tag video. My life in genre tag. 17 views. Published December the 3rd, 2024. Again, probably because I would guess I was under 100 subscribers at that point. Not great. Then the next, so the second and third. So I'm going to do a couple. I'm going to stretch the 5 a bit here, because some of them have got the same view count. So the next 2, one published on December the 24th, one published on February the 11th. So December 24th was the 5th episode. I did a read aloud of A Christmas Carol back in December, and I split it because the Christmas Carol comes in 5 staves, chapters. So I did one every Monday in December, and then because I think Where Christmas Fell, it meant I did 4 weeks, and then I did the 5th episode on Christmas Eve. So that got a stunning 19 listens, because it wasn't really a video, if you know what I mean. I'm just trying to see if I can see. So yeah, the second chapter got 23 views. The third chapter got 27 views. And this is me reading aloud, which, I'm not a great... I like listening to audiobooks. I don't say I'd be very good at actually performing them. And then chapter 4 got 35 views. So can I find chapter 1? No, I can't. That's interesting. It doesn't... I wonder if I can... No, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up because this is all... I've had to export it from YouTube. So anyway, so those are my... and then the other one, same view count, 19 views, the spoiler book tag. And that was February, as I say. So then the next... So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The next got 21 views again in December, so a couple of months, was the Christmas book tag. And I think, again, this is more because I had a very small subscriber count at that point. And I don't think people go back and watch tag videos. I don't, I think they're of the moment. I I could be wrong. I mean, none of my, as like I say, the 10 untouched book tags video was my 6th most popular. But I think it's relatively recent. I've got slightly more subscribers. When I'm looking at this, I'm looking at kind of, what's the word? Lots of things that are, the bottom of the table is tags. And this is again where I would agree with Pat, and this also bears out, I think, I've not been doing Poetry Thursday for very long. So, when I say like that tag video, the 10 untouched book tag video, was when my subscriber count was more or less where it is now. Similarly, these 2 videos, which both only got 22 views, are Poetry Thursday videos. So I've done a whole series of Poetry Thursday videos on First and Second World War poets who aren't well known. And so one was published June 4th, one was published June 12th this year. Both got 22 views. So I don't think poetry, and when I look at I can see pretty much all my other Poetry Thursday videos that I've done in the past month and a bit, 2 months, are all towards the bottom of the table. So I think, I really like doing Poetry Thursday videos much more than I ever thought, and I think partly because that's what I have a real interest in war poetry, but I think it's also now started to grow my interest in poetry generally. And I keep mentioning Pat. I would say that's partly because I watch quite a few of Pat's Poetry Thursday videos. In fact, I probably watch them all, more or less on a Thursday when she publishes them. So I don't know. What does that tell me? Oh, there we go. There's A Christmas Carol. The first chapter got 67 views. So I don't know. I'm not sure it tells me all that very much. So I suppose another interesting statistic, it would be, how many videos have I published? So not including this one, 100 that I'm recording now, 134 videos. I think. Let me just. Does it tell me? It doesn't tell me. I think looking at the looking at the spreadsheet that I've got that is downloaded from YouTube Studio, 134 videos. So not a huge number, but interesting. So, that I think was this is just me being a nerd. It was more interesting for me than I think it probably was for you. And if you have got this far, 20-ish minutes of me burbling and waffling on about view counts and how long I've been on booktube, and thank you very much for watching. You've done really well. And if you have got this far, thank you for watching. Thank you to Pat for tagging me. And thank you to Heather and Meg for creating the tag. It's been interesting for me I suspect it's not going to be a video that's going to feature in the top 5. But you never know. It'd be interesting to see how well it does do. Thanks for watching if you have been, and take care, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.